sponsored by GURUJI Sagarrumagarmatha on 14th December 2021 at Chiang Mai Meditation Center, Thailand. It has been 2 years that sentient beings worldwide have suffered from the corona pandemics. It is me, Ruma, who has also been staying in this country of pagodas that I am indeed predestined with. This period of time has helped me ponder more human life in Southeast regions, where I have a mission of Dharma, preaching, and salvation in this life. It has been over 15 years that I have continuously carried out my Dharma preaching and salvation mission. Day by day, I have been teaching my monastic disciples who have accompanied me on the journey to liberation. Together, we have built meditation centers in many countries in the world until one day, I had to stop traveling and undertake a close meditation retreat in this oceanic island. Upon closure of the historical online meditation retreat at Cambodia Meditation Center following my 2-year meditation retreat, today I can't wait any longer. I have left Cambodia for Thailand, where I have not come back for the past 2 years due to the outbreak of the century pandemics. Now, when observing the earth closely and in detail, I have realized that sentient beings in the globe and all of my monastic disciples all over the world have been living in fear and anxiety. For over 2 years, I did not get in touch with urban cities. I focused on meditation and entering samadhi on the sea island. I left this human body during those 2 years and traveled in the universe through my meditation. I did not get in touch with any human beings, nor I heard the human voice. Today, it's time, and Almighty Lord asked me to come back to this human body. On the way from Cambodia to Thailand, my human body passed by luxurious urban places and people with depressed lives. How tired I felt. I had never felt such tired when I could feel a threatening magnetic force from sentient beings was covering their daily life. It seemed that the flashiness and prosperity of big cities did not attract anyone. All shown on their faces were just the scare of the coronavirus. In all countries, people are writhingly struggling with a difficult life. Many national economies around the globe have been destroyed and exhausted by the pandemics. Nevertheless, I still decided to go to Thailand to visit my new meditation center built by my monastic disciples during the past 2 years of the pandemic. My monastic disciples have accompanied me in building up a spiritual foundation for this golden pagoda country, a nation that still preserves the beautiful culture of Theravada Buddhism, which is a traditionally noble spiritual culture. On the way from Cambodia, a land of pagodas and temples, to Thailand, a nation of golden pagodas, when passing by luxurious cities, I always felt that human beings, in general, were living in worry and anxiety. Sitting in the airplane, I pondered if the pandemics did not happen, would anyone amongst human beings wake up to understand that their life is in fact too fragile, too short, and too uncertain. Entering Bangkok Airport, I was rather surprised when seeing fewer visitors than before. Thailand is so sad because the number of visitors worldwide visiting this country of golden pagodas has never been that small. Tourism is a strength of Thailand's economy. The pandemics have brought about pity and bitterness. The scene of crowds of visitors from all over the world walking in the vast Bangkok airport with eagerness to enjoy Thai cuisine and traditional culture has seemingly become the past. The destructive pandemics of the century do not disengage anyone or any nation, including this Theravada Buddhist country of golden pagodas. It does not disengage royal dynasty or ordinary people. My monastic disciples and I witnessed service staff take excellent care of visitors at the airport. Disease control at the airport is careful and fast. I have been through this airport for over 10 years on countless missionary trips for Dharma preaching and salvation to Southeast Asian countries. However, coming back here this time, I could see a difference. It seemed that everyone's face expressed silent endurance, worry about health, and a sigh when being safe every day in the pandemic. Determinedness to face reality to be able to get through to the last chapter of their life. It seemed that people found more vital energy to improve their immune ability and be ready to face new pandemic waves. For the past 2 years, so many people have failed to fight against pandemics. Today, my wisdom eye observed only the human world on my way from Cambodia to Thailand. I saw that people in this region seemed to persist in facing the pandemics ultimately. Some human sentiment suddenly flashed in me. I was so happy to see that resilience. They were so brave with themselves, prepared to be sufficiently healthy to accept the challenge of this human world in this grim century and to get ready to conquer attacks of the severe pandemics. Accompanying me on this trip were my young monastic disciples who have been predestined with me in this numerous lives, and a Thai woman disciple who is very intelligent, highly educated, and knowledgeable. For the past 2 years, she shared difficulties and hardship with all of my monastic disciples in Cambodia. After more than 2 years living away from her hometown, today, when returning to her hometown, the homesick feeling in her just burst out. Her face shone brightly with happiness, bliss, and peace. My delegation and I were delighted and shared this joy with her. Her face shone brightly with happiness, bliss, and peace. The next part of the trip from Bangkok to Chiang Mai, all my monastic disciples were more engrossed and eager. That was good. Coming back to Thailand this time, everything seems no longer the same as it was in the past when I came here. What are people's feelings nowadays? Everyone in my delegation and I can feel that the severity of the pandemics has pushed them to evolve their awareness of life. I stayed still in one place for 2 years, meditated, and entered Samadhi. Now it is time Almighty Lord requested me to leave the sea island and come back into my human skin. Come back to Thailand. I keep going and watching earthly scenery. I don't know what to say or how to express myself verbally so that human minds can understand what my wisdom has seen through. Seeing people getting distressed, miserable, and their life is so difficult. Workers striving in the pandemics to bring about great values of love for society. I really admire them. They obviously can concentrate and raise higher awareness in life. I have also realized endurance, sacrifice, and self-satisfaction with reality on these faces. Anyway, Ruma has selected and noted down here some of my thoughts for this life. I have not to get in touch with human beings for 2 years. Watching them now, I see that people have been able to choose an appropriate way of living to cope with reality so that their life least affected by obstacles. When there are so many problems, every person knows how to choose a personal, responsive way to help them stay calm, optimistic, and keep strong faith in God and Buddha. That is the best way to increase their resistance and immune ability to protect their health and life and help themselves and society to be safe in the COVID pandemics. Compared to previous years, people in the pandemic have seemingly promoted better awareness of life value. They seem to know how to slow down in life. They can realize higher spiritual values and are less rolled away by the crazy flood of life. They know how to appreciate achievements gained by their labor efforts. They pay more attention and take better care of their relatives. People of all ages show their courage when facing pandemics. The medical staff have overcome the difficulties and severity of the pandemics to save the lives of COVID-affected patients. Politicians have spent their wholehearted efforts on taking care of citizens. Business people have strived their best to maintain the national economy. Taking an in-depth and further look, I can see clearly that though having tried to keep calm by personal energy and advanced scientific knowledge, though having attained specific medical achievements during the past 2 years fighting against the pandemics, all human beings still cannot get rid of being hanged in the karmic sky. Loss and pain have made human beings better alerted to epidemics and stronger in fighting for life and the right to live. Everyone says they dare to act and live with this severity. However, their strengths are only the strengths of human will and mind and strength of physical bodies. Oh, how sad it is! Human beings are forever lonely, tiny, and vulnerable if they do not know how to use their inner strength bestowed by Almighty Lord to move towards a peaceful, blissful, and liberated life. Observing all the facial expressions of people Ruma's delegation passed by at Bangkok Airport, I don't know what my monastic disciples will think. I don't know what lessons they will learn from the in-depth doctrine. Ruma has sacrificed his whole life for human beings, finding enlightenment and leading predestined sentient beings to liberation from human tribulation. But, unfortunately, he now still has to pitifully watch sentient beings drowning in the sea of epidemics and depression. To get out of this tribulation, dear sentient beings, please take Ruma's advice. To have a genuinely healthy and peaceful life, enter enlightenment. Find a way to return to the liberation path Ruma has brought to this earth to save sentient beings in this century. Life and love on this earth. Should you live a meaningless life, Ruma keeps spending sleepless nights, thinking restlessly, and worrying about various things to facilitate all beings to achieve a happy life. But how come people are only greedy for such an ordinary life? Why don't they find themselves the path for liberation? Though earthly life is beautiful, it is still an impermanent life. The most beautiful life is a life shown by the light of the truth. Stay away from the enjoyment of a luxurious life. Ponder the path to liberation from this earthly life. Do not be giddy with a meaningless life. Dear humanity, please look back at your life. How can you feel happy with such an unjust life? Human life is still full of suffering, though sentiment is vastly there.